Hi guys, it is Gracie from Small Worlds Big Adventures, and today we are going to do a walkthrough of Hidden Leaders. So Hidden Leaders was a game that was funded on Kickstarter, and while the Kickstarter people got their game a long time ago, we finally picked it up. Now, kicking up with the setup for the board, this game is pretty simple and there isn't much setup. See Scott taking out the instructions. And here he is placing down the board. The board represents the power tracker. He's going to flip it around so you guys can get a better thing. But the Red Empire and the Hill Tribes will be on the tracker, and the whole game is moving them back and forth. But they start on the 4th bar over. And like I said, that represents how much power they have. Next, you'll find the cards that tell you what the win factor is. So depending on how many players there are, you'll have a different number of face-up heroes that you need to hit for the end of game. For this game, we're going to pretend like there are 3 to 4 players. And so that would mean that there needs to be 7 face-up hero cards in one of the players' hands to end the game. You'll put the Buried Emperor card in the Buried section. The Buried Emperor represents all of the different factions. Different heroes that you'll play down the line will allow you to pull cards from the Buried section or place cards in the Buried section. Next, for game setup, you'll place the hero cards face down in the harbor or to the left of the board, and then fill the tavern. The tavern is filled with 3 face-up cards and placed at the bottom of the board. Moving to player setup, they do have some helpful cards that players can keep close to them that let you know what the icons mean, win conditions, or player order. There are not enough if you have 6 players, or even if you have 2 or more players to have one of each kind. So players will be dealt a Hidden Leader. This is a leader that has an alliance to 2 of the factions. They should keep this secret, and it will guide a lot of the actions they take. So mine supports Undead and the Hill Tribes. Once each player has been given theirs, then each player will be dealt a hand of 5 cards. The hand of 5 cards is 5 heroes. Each hero will be aligned with a specific faction and have a special ability of some sort. They'll either influence the way the pieces move on the board or allow you to do something extra in the game. Once you have your cards, you will decide one to keep and play as your hidden card. You won't have your cards up like this, but this is just for me showing. So I have Undead and Hill People, so it would make sense that I would hide one of my heroes that are either Undead or Hill. So in this case, I chose an Undead one. So he will be played face down. Then I will select one of my cards to discard into the wilderness or the discard pile. And I'm looking at what each of these cards does. And that one I discarded because I was like, you know what? He's not really going to influence the board. So from then I have my deck or my hand of 3 cards. Each player does this as well. Again, keeping their hidden leader and their hidden hero secret. Going on to each player's turn, the player can take one of these 2 first actions, either playing one of their heroes, which you simply do from taking one from your hand, placing it in front of you as a face-up hero, and then doing their action. This guy says that he can move one or the other, and then he can take 2 cards from the harbor, look at them, keep one, and discard the other. Which Scott's making some thoughtful decisions here. So he gets to play it as another face-up hero, and then he discards it to the wilderness. Another common action that a card may have you do is bury a card. And when that happens, you simply put it on top of the buried deck to the right of the board. When you are looking through the buried deck or the wilderness or even your hidden heroes, they have to stay in that order. Some cards will say if you get rid of a certain number of cards of a certain type in the tavern, then you can move a piece that many spaces. So in this case, Scott got rid of 2 and is able to move the Imperial Army twice. Another fairly common action that they may have you do is place a card into your hidden hero section. So in the case of this card, I place one of my hidden heroes in my hand and put it into my hidden heroes deck. And like I said, this has to stay in the same order as they are played. If you choose not to play a hero, you can discard up to 3 cards into the wilderness. So here, Scott has decided he's going to discard 2 of his cards into the wilderness. Whether you play a hero or have chosen to discard into the wilderness, your next action is drawing up to 4 cards. So he has 2 in his hand, so he can draw 2 more. He can draw from either the tavern or from the harbor. So now that he has 4 cards, he'll discard back down to 3. And then lastly, he'll refill the tavern if it needs to happen. The game is over once a player has played a certain number of face-up heroes. In a 3 to 4 person game, that number is 7. So once one player has played 7 heroes, that is the end of the game. Now, to determine what faction has won, you have to look at a few things. If both the Hill Tribe piece and the Red or Imperial Army piece are in the end zone, or 9+ on the power tracker, then the undead have won. If the undead win, it trumps all other wins. If one of the pieces, in this case the Hill Tribe, is 2 or more spaces away, then the Hill Tribe wins. Vice versa, if the Imperial Army is 2 or more places ahead, then the Imperial Army wins. Now, if the Imperial Army and the Hill Tribe are on the same power space or on adjacent spaces, then the Water Folk win. Once you've determined what faction has won, for this example, we're going to pretend like the Hill Tribe has won. Then you will see whose hidden leaders supported the Hill Tribe. In this case, mine did. The person next to me did. But neither of our players across the table did. For the players whose leaders did support the winning faction, you now go and flip over their hidden heroes and count how many of the heroes they have that supported the winning faction. Here I have 2, and the person next to me has 3. In this case, the person next to me would have won. If by chance we both had 2 heroes that supported the same faction, then we would count how many total heroes, including our hidden heroes, we had total. The smallest army that has the same number of heroes in that faction wins. So again, my partner to the right of me would have won. Now, by chance, if both our armies are the same size and we have the same number of heroes that support the winning faction, then we look at the hero cards themselves. And here you can see that in the lower left corner, the player next to me has the number 1, and I have the number 3. The larger number wins. So I would have won if our armies were the same size and we had the same number of heroes that supported the winning faction. And that's it. It's as simple as that. If you enjoyed our walkthrough of Hidden Leaders, go ahead and boop that like button. If you want to see more Gamekeeper tips, game walkthroughs, reviews, tabletop DIYs, any of that stuff, you can go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you hit the notification bell, next time we upload a video, you'll be notified when it happens, which is pretty cool. But if you have any comments or questions, drop them below. We love hearing from you guys, and sometimes we're not the clearest either. So until next time, see you later.